Persona 5 Switch finally happening. Persona 5S is a thing now. Oh boy, is that going to be a good time. Hopefully, because who knows? It might not be anything related to the Switch. Who knows? Maybe the S stands for Stadia. Obviously, it probably doesn't stand for Stadia. I'm just fucking with you guys. But I do want to talk about this really quick. Also, if you're wondering about this really different setup here, I'm going to probably explain it for maybe 2 videos or so that way people understand. I make sure you guys see the reason why. But this new setup is basically primarily because I live in a household that's very loud. So it's very difficult to, redo certain shots with my tripod back there and set it back up and everything. So it kind of takes time away from getting the videos out faster to be able to do those things. So I felt that doing it on this current setup would be a lot faster and getting the videos out to you like I said, faster. I word things weird. Fucking don't judge me on that one. Point is, right, is that this is a setup that is just a test. You guys can let me know in the comments how you feel about this new setup. If you like the setup, or if it doesn't bother you, or you're good either way, or maybe you hate it, let me know, because feedback is important and I take it very well sometimes. No, I'm fucking around. But let's get to the point of the video, because I don't want to waste your guys' time. Google Stadia getting Persona 5. No, I'm fucking with you guys. Don't worry. It's not going to be a thing. Let's get to the real thing. Persona 5S apparently is a thing, and soon we'll be getting news for it. I don't want to talk about too much about what the news could be. I want to talk about what I hope it could be, right? So let's get into that for a little bit, because we know about Persona 5 The Royal, and we know about Persona 5S. So what is that exactly? What are those things? Now, we know about The Royal. We get teases of a new character and, a new story, essentially, but what exactly is it? We don't really know what it is. So what is The Royal and what is S? S could easily be a port to the Switch, right? The S could stand for Switch or Special Edition, or anything that starts with an S, like Stadia. But it seems like a lot of people believe that it means Switch. It means a port to the Switch. But hypothetically, if it is a port to the Switch, then there's something I want to ask you guys, and that is, do you think this is just base Persona 5? Because if the Royal's coming out, right, and Persona 5S is not the Royal and it's just regular Persona 5 for Switch, would you guys be okay with that? Would you be okay with the idea of the PlayStation 4 getting an enhanced or deluxe or new version of Persona 5 in the form of the Royal, but we get, or Switch owners get, I should say, the base game and that's it for Switch? Would that be okay? So I was thinking, like, okay, what could be the situation where Persona the Royal could end up getting a Switch version as well, but it might not be obvious judging by the trademarks, right? So there's a few things that it could be. The Royal could very well just be like, a whole new game, right? It could be a thing in that regard, and the Switch owners, even though it's called, like, it's a Switch port, it could be the Royal. I don't think so. If I'm not totally sure. I mean, it could be the case, but it could also just be, the base game, which would really suck if that's the case. But it doesn't necessarily mean that either, right? So what's the other possible ideas? One thing I was thinking is, what if Persona 5 The Royal is something like Xenoblade Chronicles Torna of the Golden Country, where yes, it is essentially a new story, but it is also essentially an expansion on the regular base Persona 5. Because if that's the case, it'd be very easy for that to work on Switch. It'd be very easy for that to also come to Switch, because ideally, Persona 5 The Royal, if it is something like Torna, then they could just, like, yeah, okay, they have the physical copies too, right? But PS4 owners who don't want the physical copy can just buy the Royal as an expansion and just, get that story into Persona 5. So if a Switch version of Persona 5 comes out, they can easily just do the whole like, oh, look, shit, fucking Persona 5 is on Switch. Why don't you also pre-order the Royal expansion and you get more content coming your way other than that port? I mean, that's perfectly possible. I think it's perfectly possible. I don't know if it's realistic. I'm not asking if this is realistic. I'm asking if this would be okay with you, because before the Royal, there were rumors about a Switch version of Persona. At the time, I was okay with that because that was basically getting the same thing as, the PS4 version. But now that the Royal's a thing, where does that leave us? Does that mean the Switch owners don't get the Royal at all and they just get the fucking base game? Like, where does that leave us exactly? Where does that take us? You get what I'm saying? Because if we just get that, then they basically just screwed Switch owners. Because yeah, sure, we get the base game, but we're missing the new content. Are we okay with that? And maybe I'm completely wrong, and we do end up getting the Royal. And if that's the case, then awesome. I don't have any problems with it. I just don't want a situation where PS4 owners this year are excited and happy about getting the new Persona 5 content, and Switch owners are just gonna be content with an older game without possibility of that new content. Then there's also the possibility that the Royal is not an expansion of any sort and is just a new game entirely. And if that's the case, is Persona 5S the Royal, or is it the base game? And chances are it'll be the base game. And if that's the case, when is the Switch getting the Royal? That's what I'm thinking about. I know a lot of people are excited to see Persona 5 on Switch, and hell, I'm one of them. I think Persona 5 is by far the best game on the PlayStation 4. I bought a PS4 specifically to play Persona 5. But if Switch owners are getting fucked over like that, I'm probably not gonna buy it again on Switch. I was gonna re-buy it on Switch. I like the game that much. I want to play that game again. But if I'm not gonna get the Royal on Switch, then why would I buy the port on Switch when I can just buy the Royal on my PS4? It makes no sense for me to do that. But maybe I'm being the pessimistic one here. So why don't you guys just hit me up, let me know how you feel about it, because I don't know how to feel about this. Obviously there's no info. We don't get info until later this month about either one of them. But I don't know. I feel like we're in a very sticky situation, but that could very well just be my pessimism on the whole thing. So I mean, just putting my opinion out there, my 2 cents out there. But feel free to let me know how you guys feel in the comments down below. And a reminder that I stream almost daily, so definitely subscribe and hit the bell so that way when I go live. Definitely come through and come hang out with the fam. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm gonna be very sad and I'm gonna go into a hyper depressive state. I'm joking, that is not true. Regardless, fucking do the things YouTube loves. If you dislike the video, then fair enough. If you disliked it, that's okay too. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.